Hey guys, welcome back to Invest with Josh. Before I get into it, if you get anything out of this video, leave a big fat thumbs up. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know which one of the stocks you're trading and what stocks you think would benefit from the infrastructure bill. I love hearing from you guys. Alright, let's get right into it. So, the infrastructure bill, as I just said, passed the Senate. Now, the way that it works in the United States is, after the Senate, it has to go to the House for a vote. And if it passes the House, then it becomes law. Now, I think there's a good chance it'll pass the House, especially since the House is democratically controlled. And a lot of what's in this bill is proposed by Democrats, even though it is considered a bipartisan bill, which is how it passes the Senate in the first place. That's neither here nor there. Now, the infrastructure bill is very broad. It is the largest thing since the FDR's Green New Deal. So, the government is trying to improve America's infrastructure all across the board and bring it to the 21st century. That is why I talked about extensively about companies that are involved in broadband and 5G infrastructure. That's why I talked about EV charging infrastructure, as well as some of the blue-collar old-school stocks like steel, like Nucor Steel and Caterpillar. We also see LAC, Lithium Americas Corporation, up almost 11% last Tuesday. And I've talked about FCX before, which is a metals mining company, up to 22% since bouncing off the 200-day moving average. Now, there's one aspect of the bill that we actually did not know before, and we're not expecting, and that specifically has to do with the electric buses. So, not only electric infrastructure and EVs in general, but specifically electric buses. Per this article says it will help school districts across the country buy clean, specifically American-made, and I'll get to why that's important in a second. American-made zero-emission buses aiming to replace the yellow school bus fleet, blah blah blah. Now, the reason that American-made is important here is because BYD, which is a Chinese company, leads the world in electric bus production. So, the US could easily import electric buses from China, but the bill focuses on creating jobs and boosting the US economy, so they're focusing on American-made buses here. Now, if you did a quick Google search for American public electric bus companies, wow, that's a mouthful. You will come up with likely only one name, and that name is Proterra, ticker PTRA. This used to be a spec. It used to be the arc-like clean transition core that merger went through. Now they're still tiny compared to BYD, but part of the reason this bill is taking place is to help infrastructure, meaning the government will subsidize a lot of these companies that are looking to achieve the aims in the infrastructure bill itself. Now, please hear me out here. I'm not saying that the government is specifically going to be working with Proterra. This is pure speculation. However, I took a look at the Proterra's chart and stock price, obviously. And if you look at it, it's trading around $12. Now, the bottom, the spec price is the default stack price is $10. Obviously, after the merger, the bottom could easily be $0 because it is no longer a spec, and you can trade in your shares for the $10 default price. However, after the merger, Proterra actually traded as high as $31. Now, I don't think it'll get there in the short term. It might not even get there at all. What I'm looking for here is just pure value on the hope that we see a pop. If they get announced as the go-to manufacturer for the electric buses in order to achieve what is in the infrastructure bill, so here is one way that we can play this. Another stock I'm looking at, I talked about AMT already. We bought AMT actually a long time ago, right after the pandemic crash, and it has definitely seen highs and lows, falling to a low in March 2021 of 197. Before the infrastructure bill chatter was heating up, and when it was clear that the infrastructure bill was going to include a large allocation for 5G and broadband technology and infrastructure, you saw AMT start to climb up again. But then after killing earnings, there was a run of profit taking, and I think there's an opportunity here once again at the 50-day moving average. This is not a swing trade. NT could easily drop to maybe the 270 mark, which we saw was previously previous resistance. It could act as support, but this 50-day moving average here could be a good dollar cost average starting position. If you want to wait until ANT finds support and you don't want to catch its falling knife, then wait until it finds support before jumping in. Qualcomm. You guys know that I love semiconductors. Qualcomm is specifically focused in 5G. It pays a very nice healthy quarterly dividend currently, sitting at a cluster of moving averages here. I do like Qualcomm for very long term. It actually wasn't that long ago that Qualcomm hit a high of 167. Obviously, Qualcomm continues to beat earnings. It is just a solid blue chip that is really slow to grow but would do well in your retirement portfolio, especially if it does see a residue effects from being included in the infrastructure bill. Another major American 5G rate I'm looking at, and I'm waiting to see where it finds support. I'm not entering this yet, is CCI, Crown Castle International Corp. I did play this a little bit in the beginning of the year, but I haven't touched it since. And right now I'm waiting to see where it finds support before jumping in, but keep this one on your radar as well. If you got anything out of this video, leave a big fat thumbs up. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know which one of the stocks you're playing. See you next time.